Welcome back to more political chatter, everyone. This video is a bit different. It's not an election prediction like I usually do. Instead, this video is about the top 10 Democrats who will most likely challenge Biden for the 2024 Democratic nomination. Now, I'm not saying that all of these candidates will challenge Biden. I don't know if a single one of them will challenge Biden in 2024. I don't think anyone, maybe even no one will challenge him at all. So, here are the top 10 most likely Democrats to challenge Biden for the 2024 Democratic nomination. Number 10, Elizabeth Warren. Now, she's a progressive Massachusetts senator. She's very similar to Bernie on many issues: Medicare for all, taxing the rich, etc. She differs with the moderate Biden on many issues. If you go back during the Democratic debates, all their issues that they talk about and their policies and how they will solve these problems are very different. She went on to support Biden, and she has remained extremely loyal to him during his presidency. Now, I was just watching the news today, and what they said was really, really correct. They were saying that the Biden administration was worried that the progressives were the ones that they had to worry about. But no, it's actually the moderates who they're having to worry about to back him. And then just for fun, I added an electoral map for this candidate against Donald Trump. I mean, it's just going to be Donald Trump. I just didn't do a traditional Republican. I do think Donald Trump would win against Elizabeth Warren. And note that many of these would be different. And most of these Trump is going to win. But that is mainly due to the fact that Biden is unpopular, and that will, no doubt, steer Democrats away. So, before in 2020, I do think Elizabeth Warren would have beaten Trump, but with Biden's unpopularity, she will not. Number 9, Hillary Clinton. Now, she's the former First Lady, New York Senator, and Attorney General, all former stuff, and she was the 2016 Democratic nominee. Became most famous from that, really. I don't know, maybe First Lady, but she has backed Biden. I mean, she's a pretty moderate candidate, but I really could see her running against him on the platform to give Americans a real choice. Because so many Americans are fearing that the 2024 matchup will be Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. And that would just be the most unpopular matchup. And I think Hillary Clinton could run as someone to give Americans a real choice. Now, that's not necessarily true. A lot of people do not like Hillary Clinton. And if it was Clinton versus Trump, then that would have been the same as 2016. And Americans do not have a good choice, And I do think someone like Andrew Yang could emerge as third-party nominee, but I will not get into that right now. But yeah, I could see her running against him, possibly. I don't think so. We've done number 10 and 9. Overall, I do not think Hillary Clinton or Elizabeth Warren will run against Biden, no doubt. But I do think that if Biden's approval ratings are that low in 2024, I could see Hillary Clinton running in the Democratic primary to give Americans a real choice, in quotes. And I do think she would lose epically to Donald Trump, even worse than 2016. She would lose in the South. She would lose Nevada, which she had actually won in 2016. And the blue wall would go to Trump, and Arizona, I also think, would go to Trump. Number 8, Nina Turner. She's a progressive former Ohio State senator who worked with the Bernie campaign. So already, just from that, we know that she is progressive, and we know that Biden is a moderate. So she will differ with Biden on many issues. That already puts her as someone who can take on Biden. Then, like Warren, differs with Biden on many issues. However, she has not publicly spoken out against Biden. So that is why I did not put her higher. She hasn't, and she's not in the House or Senate. And she hasn't voted against Biden, because she's not. She's a former Ohio State senator. So we really don't know who votes, and she hasn't publicly spoken out against Biden. So that is why she's only number 8. But saying how progressive she is, I really could see her running against Biden, possibly. And then I do think that this would be a very close election, but ultimately, due to Biden's unpopularity, I do think that Donald Trump would come out with a win. Number 7, Bernie Sanders, leader of the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. Already, we know that Bernie Sanders differs with Biden very much. Go back to the 2020 Democratic debates, or just the 2020 Democratic primary campaign. They would always go at it because Biden was known as the moderate, Bernie Sanders was known as the progressive. They differed on so many issues. Universal health care, Bernie wants it. Biden is like, not so much, and he hasn't pursued that. Anyway, like Warren and Turner, he is not with Biden on many issues, right? So, he wants things to be passed that Biden is not. Many of these progressive policies he's supporting because that's something, but Biden has not made an attempt on gun laws or universal health care or anything like that. So that's why I said he is not with Biden on many issues. However, he has remained unexpectedly loyal to the president. So as I was saying, with Elizabeth Warren, we were saying how it was the progressives who were supposed to be against Biden, but they have turned out to be extremely loyal. So that's why I'm not putting Bernie Sanders higher. And another reason is that, he's going to be really old in 2024. He is most likely not going to be in the good health to run in 2024. Hey, he might have even passed away by 2024. I think this, I just went through it and I realized that this would likely be an electoral tie, 269 to 269, and I'm not going to go into the congressional districts, how representatives would vote for president, whatever, but I do think it would be an electoral tie as of right now. Number 6, Joe Sandberg. He's a progressive businessman from California. He's somebody who is a Democrat, but is not completely fond to party lines, meaning that he is pretty independent, but very left-leaning, very progressive, but he is registered Democrat. Plus, he really wants to be president. He almost ran in 2020 as, an outsider, someone who could take on Trump for being an outsider versus an outsider, saying that an outsider was the only person who could beat Trump in the general election. I really could see him running because what I was saying before, people like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren have proved to try to pass Biden's progressive laws in the Senate. Well, Joe Sandberg is a businessman. He hasn't worked with Biden. Therefore, he doesn't have a connection with Biden. He doesn't have an official connection with Biden. They don't work together to pass anything. He wouldn't feel bad running against his, quote, own president. So, therefore, I do think that Joe Sandberg does have a shot at running against Biden in 2024, and I think he could be powerful. So, I think Joe Sandberg would win. I think it would be very powerful, carrying the blue wall, carrying Arizona, not so much the South, but I do think that he would win against Trump. Number 5, Marianne Williamson. She is an author and spiritual leader. She's extremely progressive, 2020 presidential candidate, who was very similar to Bernie. Probably the second most progressive candidate of the 2020 field, even before Elizabeth Warren, but behind Bernie. Again, 2020 presidential candidate who has never served in government, and like Joe Sandberg, making her more likely to run for president because she has fewer official ties to the president. Therefore, they haven't worked together, like I was explaining for Joe Sandberg. They haven't worked together to pass any bills. They don't have any connection, and again, she won't feel bad about running against him in 2024. Alright, I think Trump would win against Marianne Williamson. She's just too progressive. Many of these extreme progressives will not win against Trump. She loses the South. She carries Michigan in the blue wall. She loses Arizona. Number 4, Roy Cooper, governor of North Carolina, who will be term limited in 2024. That's very important, so he cannot run again in 2024, therefore making him eligible, or making him free to run. His time is free to run in 2024 for president. He's an extremely popular governor who could do well when it comes to winning elections. He could do well in the South, and he's very moderate. He could win in the blue wall. He could win in Arizona. He could win in Nevada. He has not particularly agreed with Biden on many issues. Roy Cooper is much more moderate. He's definitely not very left-wing at all. He has Republicans voting for him for governor. Not much to say about Roy Cooper, honestly, but I do think that he would do very well in an election. I think he would carry North Carolina and Georgia. I think he would carry the blue wall and the Southwest. Number 3, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's a democratic socialist, and she has said that. It's not just my personal opinion. She has said that publicly. She's a representative from New York City. She has, like Bernie and Warren, she has stayed loyal to Biden more than some. She is, but obviously she's much more left-wing than Biden is. Like Bernie and Warren, again, they differ on many issues, but she has remained loyal to him, and that was, again, a big surprise. I could see her running simply to give progressives a different choice than Biden. I really could see AOC running in 2024. She doesn't have strong connections to the president. She really doesn't. Like Joe Sandberg and Marianne Williamson. She doesn't have strong connections to him, and, it wouldn't be like a friend running against a friend, trying to defeat a friend. But yeah, I could see her running to simply give progressives a different choice than Biden. Just a progressive choice. And, progressives are make up America. The majority of America are progressives. And, she could definitely win many of these progressives. I don't think she would win against Biden just because so many Democrats will remain loyal to Biden. But yeah, I could see her running just to get progressive votes. I think she would lose pretty epically to Trump, losing Nevada, Arizona, the blue wall, and the South. And number 2, Kyrsten Sinema, U.S. Senator from Arizona. She has blocked the most liberal of Biden's bills in the Senate. This has made her extremely unpopular among Democrats. 8% of Democrats approve of her, and that is why I did not put her as number 1. I think she doesn't like Biden so much that she would run against him. They differ on so many issues, and the thing is, unlike people like Nina Turner, Kyrsten Sinema is in the Senate, and we could see her voting record to see whether or not she agrees or differs with Biden on many issues. And her record shows that she disagrees with Biden a lot. She voted against the Build Back Better bill. She voted against abolishing the filibuster. She voted against the Voting Rights Act. Alright, she has voted against Biden on many, many issues. I think she would lose pretty epically to Trump, also, like AOC. Her approval ratings is 8% among Democrats. How will she win an election? Looking back, I don't think she would even win Minnesota. I don't even think she would win New Hampshire or really New Mexico or Colorado either. I really should revise this map. But I think she would lose terribly to Donald Trump. Number 1, Joe Manchin, U.S. Senator from West Virginia, the most conservative Democrat in the Senate. Most people can agree on that, I think. Either him or Kyrsten Sinema, I guess that's my opinion. He does not approve of Biden, and, like Sinema, has blocked many of his key Build Back Better bills. Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are like Senate friends. They love working together to just block whatever Biden progressive bills he's finally trying to pass. So Joe Manchin I could definitely see running against Biden in 2024, just because of how much they differ. Because of all these bills he's blocking, it's showing that he doesn't really like the bills that Biden is trying to pass. Biden, even though he is a moderate, is too liberal for Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin, I guess you could say, is just too conservative for Biden. So, I think that Manchin would lose to Trump, losing the blue wall, losing the South, losing Nevada and Arizona. So, that wraps up this video. Oh, shout out to Minnesota Predictions. The channel is called Minnesota Predictions because he gave me the idea of this video. So shout out to him. Go and subscribe to him. I should have gave him a shout out in the beginning. Sorry about that. If you're watching this Minnesota Predictions. But yeah, go and sub to him. If you enjoyed this video, sub to me also, but watch his more importantly. And yeah, I hope to see you all pretty soon.